Hey everybody, we are here in the Hangry District Kitchen. I am Hangry Michelle, and I'm going to teach you the easy way to make your own chicken stock. It is seriously one of the best things you can make on your own. You can make a lot of it and freeze it in your freezer for whenever soup season rolls around. It's completely simple. You just need a big pot. You need a couple aromatics. We'll get into that later. And then you need a chicken carcass or any kind of poultry like turkey, duck, whatever you have. We can make a whole poultry stock. And then some frozen vegetable ends. So let me show you what I'm talking about and then we'll get into it. I keep everything in my freezer. Vegetables. And a chicken carcass. This might be a turkey, I don't know. So this is what I do. I don't like anything to go to waste when I am cooking. So as I'm trimming onions and vegetables, maybe those ends of herbs, I save them all in a zip top bag in my freezer. These are getting pretty full, and I do happen to have some chicken and turkey carcasses, so it's the perfect time to make stock. So as I'm gathering any kind of vegetable ends, I just open up the bag, throw them in, and then stick it in the freezer. It's as easy as that. And then you're not wasting all that flavor that goes into onion skins, the ends of leeks, celery, carrot. If you're lobbing off the nubs, the tips and the tails of your carrots and celery, or maybe you just have some celery that you know you're not going to use, just throw that in there. It's the perfect way to flavor your stock. So let's get into this. 1/2 of the turkey carcass is in the pot. On Thanksgiving, you know, it's always like, what do we do with this carcass? Is anybody gonna make soup right away? And you're totally exhausted from cooking for the family, so I always just get the carcass in a freezer bag, throw it in the freezer for a later time, but I don't wanna just throw it out. There's so much flavor. All right, second turkey carcass half goes in. Much easier to get that puppy out. And now I'm going to put in all of my aromatics. So you'll see this is just, you know, some cilantro stems, onion skins. I think onion skins really gives it the most flavor. We've got some shallot, celery. Whatever you don't use, just throw it in a freezer bag for stock time. Okay. Now I'm going to fill this up with water and see how much room we have to see how much more of these vegetables I can fit in there. Be right back. One thing to note is you really want the water to come all the way up to the top of the pot because it is going to reduce as this cooks down, which is good, but you want to make sure it has a good starting ground with lots of water. So I'm going to see if I can jam some more of these vegetables in here for more flavor. We have some red onion in here, which will add a nice depth to the yellow onion. And I think I have some leek stalks down here, which is one of my favorite flavors in stock. And we even have some zucchini ends, more onion skins, and lots of herbs. Ooh, a green pepper in the mix. Whatever you have. It's just gonna add many more layers of flavor to the stock. As this reduces and things start to thaw, I'll be able to add in a few more layers. So I'll just keep this on the reserve. But before we put it on the stove, just rinse my hands. I want to add a few more aromatics that were not in the frozen vegetable bag. So we'll add a few peppercorns. Telly cherry is a very common kind of peppercorn, lots of flavor. This is a lot of stock, so I want a lot of flavor. And then I'm going to add 3 bay leaves. 1 dried chili pepper. This goes a long way. When you're making stock, the heat element that you add to it, you want very little, otherwise your stock will be too spicy. And inedible. I've been there. I really tried, but I ended up having to ditch the whole batch. Okay. Now, a lot of recipes will tell you to add salt at the end, but I don't believe in that. I have some really delicious aromatic rosemary salt that my best friend made for me for my bridal shower last year. It's incredible, and it's just gonna add a lot more flavor. So I'm going to start with a nice big handful of that salt, and I'll see where that gets us about halfway through, and then you can finish with more if needed. That's basically it. I'm gonna put it on the stove, on the power burner. Now I'm going to let this come up to a boil and let everything sort of thaw, come to room temp, and then start to wilt. And I'll fill up the pot as I can with the rest of these ends. Otherwise, I'll just save it as my starter bag for the next batch. This can go for all day, really, on low. I recommend at least 3 hours that you let your stock come to its full potential. And just every once in a while, just kind of give it a little stir so that all the elements can incorporate. But after about 3 hours, we'll check it. If it's got a nice deep color and flavor, then it will be strained, and then strained again, and then strained again, and then sometimes I'll even use my fat separator if it's, if it's a very fatty broth. So then you'll have perfect chicken stock, and it'll look like this. Okay. I just keep them in my freezer in a quart container, labeled, and you'll be ready for soup season. So come back in a jiff and we'll show you how to strain it. But thanks for following me along, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.